Good morning and welcome everyone to another Monday morning meeting for Telehealth today. Today is August 19th. It is actually 10:25. We're starting a little late. I apologize for that. We had some technical issues. And before we get started, I wanted to say keep the date November 1st of this year. Hard opening, lots of new announcements. I'm going to share some of them 2 weeks from today on Labor Day. So that's some of the exciting things we got going on. But as always, today we have a practitioner for you. Today is Mr. Bill Williams. He is a technical consultant and he thrives on creativity, which I love because that creates ambition and work ethics. And yeah, so without further ado, Mr. Bill, the stage is yours. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, James and Renner and everyone. Happy to be here today. Um, I'm gonna say what James said. We apologize for the late start. We had technical issues, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. And as I promised on LinkedIn this morning when I posted about this event, I'm gonna keep it spicy as usual. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Williams, and I'm a tech consultant. And today I'm going to be talking about utilizing software effectively. And James said that I thrive on creativity, and with with IT solutions with software, I believe that the same setups, the same softwares are not going to work exactly the same way for everyone. And to truly utilize software effectively, you need to get creative with, how you use them and how you set them up for yourself. And it has to, mirror your goals and what you want to do with your business or whatever you use software in. And so today I'm gonna take you through the process of understanding exactly how to do that. And I'm gonna share my screen now so you can see my slides and go along with me. So it's gonna take a couple of seconds before you can see my slide. So, um, James, please give me a go when you can see my slides. Can you see my slides now, James?
It just came up. You're good. Thank you.
Okay, okay, let's go. Like I said earlier, utilizing software effectively is what we're gonna talk about today. So I'm gonna jump straight into it. So to utilize software effectively, I needed to look at what I have on my screen right now, and I need you to remember this. So it's a simple process. One, you have to have, obviously, everyone has business goals or life goals, what for using softwares, and then you have to have a process of, getting towards those goals. So it might be how you go about your work every day, but you need to truly understand your goals and your workflows, and only then can you then apply the software to improve how you go about working every day. So this is a simple chat, and as we go on, I'm going to explain it further. So so let's start with a quick introduction. Software is so critical for small businesses today and businesses in general, as we all know. We use software every day from, making documents, flowcharts, and all that. So I don't need to talk much on that. The problem I'm trying to solve with my consulting is the fact that although there are software products coming out every day and almost every weekend, now it's easier to make software. So more and more tools are out there in the market for you to use, but still, so many people are not using these tools effectively and are not getting the results they should be getting with their work because they don't know how to use these tools. I think some common reasons I've come across for this are the cost concerns. Some softwares can be really expensive to use, and people don't want to take the risk of using them before truly understanding them. And sometimes adapting to new software can feel like a new language if you don't love technology that much and you just want to focus on what you're good at. And sometimes you don't have in-house IT experience. It's hard to integrate the software you think is going to help you with other softwares you use, and and the biggest of all is finding the right software to use and finding the right person to advise you on what software to use, because some people hire teams to or companies to build a IT system for them or set up softwares for them, and at the end of the day they end up right back where they started because they don't even know how to use the software. And shocking data I found in my research for this presentation is that 80% of small, more than 80% actually, of small businesses aren't fully utilizing available technology. And I believe this because over the last 3 years, I've had conversations with so many people from around the world. And when I listen to what they do and the problems they have, and I can immediately think, oh, there's this software that exists that is free that could easily solve your problem, but they haven't heard about it before, or they don't even know how to use it. And I'm gonna see what I can do in this presentation and further conversations after this to help reduce this percentage. One of the so we're gonna go right into how you can utilize software effectively. One of the ways you can do that is by adopting it early. This chart shows, the percentage of early adopters and kind of everyone else that uses the software, over time. And there are benefits to early adoption because then you learn how to use the tool as it is growing. Most software tools these days start with basic features and then build their way up. The Zoom we use now is not a Zoom that was available when I started using Zoom in 2020. It's so much more different now. And because I have used Zoom for that long, I know the little details here and there that they add every now and then. So adopting software early can be a way to improve your business and how you go about doing things because you're in the loop. Why adopt early? Adopting early, it's from my research, I find out that 120%, it's possible to have 120% in revenue because some businesses do not need um really people to run them on a daily. If they found the right software to use, they could automate almost 90% of the job and they increase their revenue, their productivity, their motivation. I'm just gonna run through all this and get to the good stuff. Uh, Now back to what I showed you earlier. The business goals need to be clear. How you're gonna go about achieving those goals need to be clear, which is your workflows, and then you apply software into those workflows to enable you get the best from software. And then over time, you review the software tools you use to see if you could there are better tools out there. There are more ways to automate things. Now, these are actionable tips on how to utilize software properly. I'm going to explain this I'm going to explain this slide. Well, nope, this one. I'm going to explain these slides in the next comment slides. So I'm going to go a little bit slowly now. So to utilize software properly, the first thing you need to do is to deeply understand your business goals. You have to know what you're doing in business. You don't just randomly go out there and say, oh, this AI tool is good, and you set it up and you just start using it without having some goal for using it. And that's the first step. You have to deeply understand and document your goals and how you're gonna go about your goals, which is your workflows inside out. You have to document it. I prefer to actually put this on a flow chart for people that speak with me so they can see how they go about working every day, in a graphical method fashion. And when you deeply understand your goals and workflows, it becomes easier to choose a software that fits your needs. You know exactly what you want the software to do for you, exactly what you want the software to do for you. Because when you speak to people that market software products, they tell you, oh, it can do this, it can send you to the moon. I'm just exaggerating, but there's so many flashy features they throw in your face. But once you know exactly what you want, you can go past your, you can surpass all that stuff and say, hey, this is exactly what I need because you truly understand your goals for your work and how you want to go about doing it. And then some other way you can help kind of help the process of finding the right software to use is using ChatGPT. So let's say I'm trying to send out 1,000 emails in the next 4 weeks. And my work process is someone fills a form and they get the first email, and then I want them to automatically get the next email in the next 10 minutes and lead to another form and all that. So you can type all this out. You can type this whole process out to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is exactly my workflow. And I want you to suggest the software tools I can use to achieve this process in a kind of semi-automated way. And ChatGPT would guide you through that. Or you can ask an IT specialist if you have one on your team, or if you could hire one, you could consult with one and find and get the right advice. It's gonna help the process so much. It's gonna help the process a lot of finding the right software tools to use. And that thing you get from another thing you get from knowing your workflows and your business goals is you can easily see the opportunities to automate things. You can pinpoint automation opportunities. You can see, oh, we do this every day. Why don't we find a software that can help us do that automatically without us having to remember to do that every day? So once you have your workflow on a chat that you can see, that you can visualize on a chat, you can easily see this loophole, this kind of bottlenecks to automate and automate them. Like I said, seek training earlier. One place other than ChatGPT you can seek help is YouTube. You can find, hey, YouTube, how do I set this software up to do this and this for me? And when you do all that, when you, one, be very clear about your goals and workflows, two, seek help from an IT specialist of ChatGPT to help you find the right tools to help you actualize your workflow in a effective and almost semi-automatic way if necessary. You then come to the point where occasionally you go and review and say, oh, my business is doing new things now. Is there any software that can help us do this faster? Or is there any other tools we can use to automate things we do now? Just improving your workflow over time as you would, day to day. When you improve your workflow, you then also look at the softwares you use and see if they still make sense. It still makes sense to use them. So reviewing regularly ensures that you keep up to date with the new tools out there in the market. New softwares are coming out to really improve how everyone does their job, trying to make things as automatic as possible and make your life easier. So by reviewing your workflows and the softwares you use, you can benefit from those tools because you're out there looking for them. Going on. So why invest in an IT person to guide you through the process if you've done the process, if you have passed through the process of being really clear about your business goals and how you want to go about them, which is your workflows. I've said workflows like 100 times now. It's really important to know your workflow. That's why I keep saying it, workflows. It's important to hire an IT specialist because when you tell an IT specialist, hey, this is how I work and I'm looking for a softwares, tools that can help me do X, Y, and Z, the IT professional can then go out there and say, hey, they can guide you because they have the right information to guide you through that. They can find software for you that help you boost your productivity. It's gonna make the process faster. It's faster than trying and failing and trying different softwares and failing. If you have an IT, if you're really clear about your workflows, a good IT person is gonna be able to find the right tools to optimize how you work. And something people don't really think about much when they go out there looking for software is the security feature, how that opens them to dangers on the internet and all that. So an IT person is gonna find tools for you that protect the data and keep your business safe, your business data safe. And an IT person is basically, you could say, hey, you could give an IT person your budget for how much you want to spend on softwares, and an IT person can find you the tools you can use with your budget without breaking the bank. An IT person is also gonna look at your workflow and say, hey, they can see automation opportunities that you didn't see at first. If you give an IT person your workflow and you speak with them, an IT professional, IT specialist, or a consultant, they can see they can look at your operations and see ways to automate things. And if you also hire an IT person, you have a much happy business, because then people come to work and the software tools they use make their work really easy. Because I know how frustrating it can be if you don't have the right software to use. Come in work every day and it's just strenuous to keep doing the same things over and over again. And you could even hire the person on a retainer basis so that you can easily reach out to them when anything comes up and they can walk you through it. So a case study. So this is a client I recently worked with. Uh, we stopped working in June, and we're gonna start working again in November. So he hired my team to help him build a CRM because he was using a spreadsheet to manage his business, and he lost a lot of data, a lot of financial. I'm gonna call him Client B because I'm not allowed to use his name here, but he lost a lot of financial data and business data due to the software tools he was using. He had to go through emails to find information, go to WhatsApp to find information, and he needed an IT system to track his events. He runs a casino. He needed to track his events, his customers, and his bookings, and how his equipment are moving around locations and expenses and all that. And so first thing I did with the team was to conduct an in-depth consultation with him to understand his processes. First, I asked him, "Hey, what are your business goals, if you don't mind sharing, and how do you go about working towards them now?" And we mapped that out on a flow chart, and then we showed him the flow chart and said, "Hey, is this what you said you do to actualize your business goals?" He said yes, and then we showed him ways he could automate the process better and things he needed to take out to make the system effective. And then we built the CRM from that. So he wanted to build this CRM using mostly no-code software, no-code tools. So he wouldn't spend much. And so by having this, for me, the most important part of the process is understanding how the client works. Once you understand how the client works, building it is quite easy to do. And so once we understood and we agreed on the automations and how the process should go, we then just went in to build the system. And then we trained the client and their team for about 5 months to ensure that they adopt the system properly. And the results they got from that is a 29% increase in efficiency. He literally said, "Oh, although this process was strenuous," he told me about a couple of weeks ago, it's really changed how I go by work, and all my data is tracked now. So he got better at managing his data. He could easily search for stuff and find them instead of having to go through different channels to find information every day. And for the first time, he experienced a system that truly supported his operations. So it took about 5 months to fix this because he hadn't been using the right software tools for years in his business. And so it took 5 months to fix that. So the good thing you could do for your business today is to go through that process of clearly understanding how you go about work, document it on a flowchart, and try to get the right software tool so you don't lose data. I think the sooner you do that, the better. So there are lots of tools out there, but what I try to do with suggesting software tools for people is I try not to kind of give general tools I've used or I've built with for people, because the way I use Slack is it's not gonna be the way you're gonna use exactly, and the way I use Zoom, or the way I use Togo, or the way I use Asana or Airtable or Notion is not exactly how anyone else would use it. But these are some tools I really love to use out there. Like I said, like I've been saying over and over again in this presentation, you truly need to understand your workflows. If you don't understand your workflows, you're not gonna know if you're using the right software tools. You're not gonna see opportunities to automate things. And sometimes when you're really clear about how you go about working, you find out that the software tools you need to use might actually be the free versions of the software. That's gonna solve your problem. but you truly need to understand them. But here have some tools on the screen that I use. If you look at the top of the screen, next slide is going to be about AI tools, because AI is in everything we do now. From even on Zoom, you have AI helping us, make life easier. So if you look at the top of the screen, that's where you could find some free AI website, ChatGPT, whatever tools you might need. You could find them in the URL up the screen. But first, make sure you understand your workflow. I'm going to say workflow so much that you dream about it tonight. Uh, so yeah, he has some free AI tools you can use. From I use ChatGPT a whole lot for a lot of things every day. Canva AI, you could create some designs using Canva AI. If you've not tried out before, try it out today. Google AI, mostly Gemini and stuff. Quillbot if you for writing, but then there's so many writing tools out there. You just have to find the one that works well with how you work. Grammarly, everything, almost everything has AI in them today. If you look at this URL up here, you can easily find AI tools you need, but first understand your workflow so you use the right AI for you. Uh, and that's all I have for you today. I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes taking questions. I wanted to keep this short, sweet, and spicy. I wanted you to just take one thing home with you today. It'll be make sure you understand your business goals, how you want to go about working them, and then you can talk with ChatGPT or an IT specialist to guide you to find the right software for you. That's the easy. That as simple as it sounds. That's the way to get the best from software tools. On the screen, if you look at the left side of my screen, you can see my LinkedIn. You can scan that, you get my LinkedIn. And for everyone watching this right now, between now and the end of this week, if you watch this live stream or you're watching this right now, if you scan the QR code on the right, you can book a call with me. Just tell me, hey, I'm coming from Telehealth, and you can have a 15 to 30-minute session with me, and we could talk about your business, and I can guide you through the right software to use for you. And that's what I'm offering everyone watching this right now. For the next couple of minutes, I will take questions if you have them. And again, thanks to James for having me. I hope I kept this short and sweet and spicy as I promised earlier. Thank you, everyone.
That was good. Thank you. I do have a few questions for you. One, because I like your workflow, right? So I even created a little process while you were talking, and then I wanted to ask you. So when you're an entrepreneur, definitely you define the workflow, then you design it, then you implement it, then you improve it. So I'm just wondering, are you a master of all four, or is there one place in there where you really like to come in and engage?
Oh, I come in where it's when it's time to get the right software. So I have a whole team. I partnered with a company. They're really good at workflow. So let's say a client comes to me and I see that they don't really have a workflow that is effective, or it doesn't really work for them for what they say they want to achieve. I send them to the team that does the workflows. They sit down for an hour and build out a workflow in that session. And then I come in and say, hey, okay, based on this workflow, now here's the software you can use.
Okay, very good. So you have like an individual team for each part of the process, basically.
Yes. I have a team for each part of the process. I come in when it's time to pick the software, set it up, and train the customer to use it.
That's good. That's good. And I think based on your slides there too, you're more utilizing other people's software than creating your own. You're just creating your own techniques to piggyback off of the software that's already out there. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'm a software developer, so I have clients that come to us to develop softwares from scratch, which is, maybe one or two clients every year on development projects. But I love to, for small businesses, mostly that I've worked with in the last 3 years. Most businesses want to get a software system out there working. So for them initially, it makes sense to use software that already exists, and then over time, if they need to build the software from scratch, they come to us and we can do that too.
That's very good. Yeah, it seems like you could save some entrepreneurs a lot of time by assisting them. Warner, I see your hands up. Good.
Yeah, I want to jump right into this discussion about small businesses. You mentioned small businesses. So typically, when we think about tech consultants, and I really think your process is fine, and your help and your expertise and everything very good. But still, we have the experience. It might be very costly, right? And so, what I want to ask you, when do you think we are able as a business to hire tech consultants, hire you? Is there a certain headcount or a certain revenue we need? Until that, we need to do it alone, and then we can hire tech consultants like you. So do we need to be 5 people, 10 people, 20, 100 people, and a revenue of, I don't know, 5, 6 figure? What do you recommend? How long do we need to do it alone, and when, and use AI or utilize AI, and when can we hire you?
I think it depends on the person. So some people start out with $0 when they start their business, and they need to work up a bit before they can afford a consultant. Well, I would suggest for people like that there's so much content out there on YouTube and stuff. There's so much. You just gotta literally go and search for it and say, hey, let's say you use ChatGPT or whatever free AI tool you use, and you say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want you to suggest software for me. And then you can go on YouTube and say, hey, how do I set this up? Or how do I set that automation up? You can do that, and when you get some revenue, you don't have to have a team of 10, 20, whatever number. You just initially, if you start with not much funding, you might have to get creative. You might have to use free AI tools out there to find the right answers. You might have to go on YouTube and find content, and then when you can afford a tech consultant, you do that. But that's what I would suggest.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Dimitri's got one more for you.
all right.
Hi, Mr. Williams. So I have 2 questions for you, which I'll also put in the chat. So my first question is, you mentioned CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management. But
Yes.
can a client also benefit from an integrated system like enterprise resource planning as well?
Yes. Thanks for that question. I forgot to mention that earlier. So it's when you go to pick softwares, and I think if you hire a consultant, the best thing to do is to pick a software that solves most of your problems, or a software that integrates with the softwares you already use.
Okay.
So ERP systems, they solve a lot of problems for businesses. And so, yeah, sure. Customers can benefit from ERP systems. But in my experience, some businesses, when they start, can't afford some of these systems, which is why they use, less expensive CRM systems at first. But as soon as you can afford a software that integrates most of the things you need in one, please do that. I see your second question is
Yes.
my experience on so I have a contract with a company in the US that does that. So when any client comes up, I just send them that way because I try not to involve myself in things I don't fully understand.
Right.
So with situations like this, I just say, hey, here's someone I'm in contract with, please go to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So really thanks for the first question. I think I need to just repeat that point again.
Sure.
Please, the software you use should solve most of your problems. The best thing that you can do is, having a software that can solve most of your problems in one, or one that integrates with the softwares you already use seamlessly. It's gonna be the best option for you. All right.
Understood.
Thanks. Yeah, all right. Thanks
Maybe
for
I can
that.
add a question.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're in the beginning and you start doing your research yourself, and then I understand, okay, you get your first revenue, and then you set maybe 10% or 20% aside and use it for consultancy. But in the beginning, when you use AI, what is your experience, or how would you explain the bias? Because always AI is biased for sure. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a tech system, it's automation. You have a bias. So how can you deal with that as an unexperienced tech person? How can you understand that everything you get recommendations is only recommendations and
Yeah.
it's not the whole truth? So how can you deal with that as a beginner?
It's tricky. Then that kind of falls into the line of there's a right way to prompt an AI and it's a wrong way to do it. And I feel like sometimes when you talk to an AI with asking it questions about tech solutions and all that, you almost have to give it instructions like you're talking to a child. You know, you have to say, hey, I need you to do exactly this. I need you to understand that I'm from this country. You need to give it specific details, and you need to say, hey, you might even ask the AI to ask you questions for clarification before it replies your prompt. That way you can see it kind of takes out some of the bias. So what I do sometimes is I say, hey, before you reply my prompt, please ask me any questions you might have to give me the best results. And you just have to, I think prompting, I know that prompting properly kind of helps the process a bit. If you know how to prompt the AI properly, it helps the process a bit. On YouTube, you can find short videos on how to prompt AI properly. I had to take like a 3-month course to learn how to prompt AI. It's wild. So
I like that. I like speaking to an AI, like speaking to a child. I think that explains a lot. And yeah, I like that quote.
yeah, if you have any questions, if you scan my LinkedIn on the left, you can ask me direct. From now till Saturday, if you book a call with me and say, hey, I'm from Telehealth, you have a free session with me. And on LinkedIn, you can ask me any questions if you scan my LinkedIn on the left. Thanks again, James, for having me. I think by now everyone should. I'm gonna send my details to Werner to share with the community, my LinkedIn and my booking link, and I'm gonna stop sharing now. Thanks a lot for having me, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for watching on the replay or watching live as well.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this earlier, but I forgot. So I didn't turn on my camera earlier. So if you want to, because the odds for some reason are against me, my camera doesn't want to work. But if you go on LinkedIn, you can see my face.
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, we do encourage people.
And on Telehealth today, we can also see
That's
Bill's
right.
face.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Until next week. And once again, look out for the meeting in 2 weeks, because I'll be saying a lot about the future of telehealth today and what we got planned and some good stuff. So thanks again.